Okay, so this is the first evaluation question for the Whole Cross Media blog. The first one, of course, is how we use, develop and challenge conventions of similar media products. Let's start off with uses. We'll start with the storyline structure. I think basically what our film does is it copies quite a few of the films that are out there to do with drugs and alcohol and substance abuse. It starts at the end, if you will, so it starts with the end. It can be confusing or disorientating for the character. They'll often wake up and be like, how did this happen? How did I get here? And then you'll have a flashback. It'll start from the beginning, and then you'll piece everything together as the film goes on, and the audience is meant to do that with it. And I think our film does that quite well, because when you're watching it, you think, oh, so that's what he's volunteered for when he goes into the lab, and then it's like, oh, so that's how he got into onesie, so that's how he woke up there. So as you're watching it, you're thinking about that all the time. Another way in which we use conventions is the changes in pace. When you're watching a comedy, what you'll often get, if it's like a feature film, an hour and a half, you'll get the storyline will move on quite quickly. You'll get slow parts of the film and fast parts of the film, and we try to reflect it anyway. For example, when we're just trying to move the story along, there's fast cutting, but when something funny's happening, it slows it right down, and that you can see in quite a few comedy films when you think about it. Another way in which we use similar conventions, we follow one protagonist. It's a basic plot. Overcomplicated plots do not work in comedies. They just confuse the audience, so you want to keep it simple, and that's what we did. Simple start, simple middle, simple end. Joe wakes up. Joe pieces together how he woke up there, and Joe realises how he woke up there. Very simple story, and, you know, at the end of the day, when people are watching a comedy, what they want to do is laugh. They've not gone to that film thinking, I really want to piece together the intricate details of how this person ended here. No, it's a comedy, you just laugh and you go along with it, and it's like, oh right, so that's how it happened. It's realisation, it's based upon that. Finally, another way in which we use conventions of similar media products, very succinct dialogue. It's not dialogue heavy at all, because what you'll find with shorter films is they rely upon the humour from the camera work, the acting and the music in particular. So we reflected that. We didn't want it to be dialogue heavy, and we did put a lot of emphasis into the music. And I think we can build on that when we develop on it. It's a film for teens, made by teens. We know exactly what our target audience wants to see, because we are the target audience. We know exactly what we want. So we're really happy with how it's come out, and after getting the feedback that we got on YouTube and Facebook and all that lot, we were really happy that the film came out exactly as we planned it in our heads all them months ago in September. Often the filmmakers for these sort of films, like American Pie and those teenage films, are going to be at least in the mid-20s, if not the 30s. So we've gone further. We are teens, and we've constantly been asking our audience as we've been making the film, is this funny? Is this what you want to see? So we're really proud of how it's come out. And that's a development, because when you hear of films that have been made for teenagers, you don't often hear of audience feedback. You just hear, oh right, this happens in this film, oh that'll be good, let's go watch it. And the only reason American Pie is so popular, or, you know, chains of comedies, is because they've been going for series and series and building the character repertoire and stuff like that up, and that's why they're successful. But ours is a short film, so we need to get everything out very quickly, so we do. Another way in which we develop things is mise-en-scène, obviously. The character gets changed halfway through. Just point it out there, it's lots of bright colours. Now, we could have gone one of two ways when we started this idea. It could have been a really dark film, or it could have been a really light-hearted film. And we looked at what everyone else was doing on the course, and it just looked like every single person has just gone for a dark film. It's like, oh, why aren't you doing it funny? Thought, oh, let's do a comedy, let's just see how it works out. We went for the light-hearted approach to comedy, and we stuck with it throughout the entire film. We didn't want it to delve off into the world of sadness and stuff, apart from the final bit where Joe starts reflecting on what he's been up to. The sad piano music comes in, and he's like, oh, what have I done? Everyone's left me, even though it was hallucinations, but everyone's left me. And in the car, he's thinking about it. You can just hear in his face, it's like, oh, I feel all emotional. Mise-en-scène, we had a car, we used my car. Doesn't really matter, but it added a few dynamics, and it's a bit random, and that's the entire feel of the film. It's completely random. He's walking down the street and a onesie bob comes up. turns into a little French scene for some reason. Aged film, gets into a car, wakes up in a ball pool. It's completely random. People don't expect it, and that's why we did it. The car was actually improvised when we were storyboarding. It's like, oh, how can he get somewhere? And then we thought, public transport? No, it's too awkward to do. Alright, we'll go for a car. Why not? It was going to be that or a skateboard, but a skateboard would just been impractical and not doable for anyone because we tried it out and it's yes, no go. Moving on. The final way, how we challenge similar media products. We don't really show any changes in mood. Thinking back to Hangover, you get the peaks and troughs in emotions, you get the extreme elation and then you get the depression and stuff, and we didn't want that. Most films do that, but we thought, why bother? It's better to keep it light-hearted throughout the entire thing because it's only a short film and we don't want the audience going on too much of an emotional roller coaster. Because when you're watching stuff on YouTube, you're not expecting a roller coaster of emotion. You go onto YouTube and you think, oh, I want cheering up or I want to watch depressing videos. So we stuck with one theme, and we probably think it's the best thing to do because it's a YouTube video. It's not something that's been designed for the cinema goers. It's been designed for teenagers who are sat at home on their laptops. That's another thing we picked up on. Throughout the entire thing, we've been thinking, is it going to be a 15 or a 12? And after looking at the BBFC guidelines, 15 is what we settled on because we seem to glamorise drugs according to some of our older audience members. We got some of our audience members' parents to watch the film, and they said, oh, I wouldn't want my 12-year-old child watching that because they'll get the wrong idea of drugs. So we stuck with it. We stuck to a 15 guideline, which disappointed us a bit, but it's for the right reasons. Every single parent that we asked was also saying, no, I don't want my young children to see this, so there's no way we could have made it a 12A either. So yeah, we settled for 15. Probably would have done 12A, but after the audience research, we decided it's a no-go. 15 to 19-year-olds, very niche audience, but they're the people that use the laptops, they use the YouTube, they use the Twitter, and Facebook, so yeah. It's designed for them. Let's keep it aimed at them, and let's try and get as many views as we can, as quickly as we can. We spent within 24 hours. We'd got 100 views within a day because we just promoted it on Facebook and Twitter because it's what we use. So yeah, that's how a film like ours would work. You'd be promoting it all over the internet. Oh, you want to watch this? You'd get it trending on Twitter. You'd get it promoted on Facebook, and that's how we'd build our audience up, and that's what short film companies do. If they like it, they'll subscribe to your channel, and that's how the short film industry works. Get your fan base built up and keep making films. So that's how the volunteer uses, challenges and develops conventions of similar media products, and a smidge of marketing thrown in at the end for the lols. Thank you.